Well, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek a...
This is the truth. All that remains after someone exhausts genuine debates is meaningless chit-chat and incessant babbling. Viewers aren't buying into the ridiculous hosts of the show because of this. Despite their complete alienation from mainstream America, they behave as though their views are unquestionable. Whoopi Goldberg was the king at the head of that table for years, steamrolling visitors, ignoring any who disagreed, and treating her opinions as sacred texts. But in a startling turn of events, Caroline Leavitt yanked the rug out from under her control of daytime television. No one anticipated it. It started like any other episode. Predictable nods, smug laughter, and the typical coordinated echo chamber.
It's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
As usual, cocky, cool, and Whoopi, ready to guide the conversation, he leaned back. The topic of wokeness then came up. They consider cows to be sacred, the philosophy they adhere to as though it were essential to the entire show. And it does. In a sense, Whoopi fired the first shot with that trademark smile. She hissed and pointed directly at Caroline. You wouldn't even have this job if you weren't woke. The tone changed instantly. The crowd went silent. Joy Behar, the queen of making fun of conservatives, appeared uncomfortable as well. It was Whoopi in the classic sense. Dependable, arrogant, and genuinely indolent. You'd think she could draw a clearer line after spending decades in that chair. Not at all. The same old procedure.
I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good.
There was a lot of stress. Everyone waited for the blow. This wasn't merely a jab, though. Whoopi disparaged Caroline's brains, her hard ethic, and all she had created, dismissing her entire career. It was intended to humiliate her. The crowd spontaneously applauded. However, it was clear that the room was uncomfortable. They didn't dare to say it, but they felt Whoopi had gone too far. Caroline remained unflinching. Don't fumble for words. Don't go on a defensive tirade. Rather, she smiled calmly and confidently, the type of person who stated, "You simply made a mistake." It was not conceit. It was poise. She knew the truth, and she was going to turn the whole conversation on its head. And she did precisely that.
Statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you-know-who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then the moderators are probably biased and they're prejudiced against me.
Cold, hard government records were the first thing Caroline looked at. She made clear the outrageous woke projects that were being funded with taxpayer dollars. For example, gender studies programs abroad, Sesame Street reboots intended to promote activism abroad, and pointless expenditures masquerading as virtue. She made the connections piece by piece, demonstrating how wokeness ceased to be a movement and instead turned into a political tool used to silence anyone who dared to question it. Whoopi stopped laughing abruptly.
And disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world.
This reversal was unexpected. Whoopi, whose whole persona revolved around intimidating visitors and dismantling conservatives, was suddenly unsteady. Her signature grin disappeared. Her hands trembled. Under pressure, she was accustomed to guests stuttering, fumbling, and folding. Not this time, though. Caroline had no intention of making a resurgence. There was no way out for Whoopi for the first time in years. Her mouth opened. closed, and then opened again, but nothing came out. Normally quick to applaud her, the audience sat in stunned silence. Zoom in on her astonished face or switch to the commercial, but even the production team were uncertain. Whoopi sat rigidly in a corner, and the larger question that Caroline revealed lingered. What is the reason behind the constant attacks on conservative women if wokeness is about diversity?
So we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and all of this other.
It was nearly terrible to watch Whoopi struggle. Even when weighed against the facts, her argument came across as flimsy and juvenile. It begs the question of how she maintains her level of power. At this point, it feels more like inertia than substance, but it could be longevity or simply brand awareness. You would think that years ago, ABC would have found someone who could have a genuine argument in her place.
Well, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Right.
That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say.
As well as the internet. Yes, within minutes, the internet was exploding with meme replies, videos, and incessant criticism. Social internet was ablaze with Whoopi's astonished reply, which was repeatedly replayed. This is where it becomes even more crazy. Though, this was not the first time Whoopi had run her mouth and gotten herself into trouble. She has turned The View into a lawsuit over the years. ABC is being pulled from one controversy to another by Factory. Whoopi has been at the center of some of the most embarrassing moments in the history of the show. From her tone-deaf remarks regarding the Holocaust to her strange defenses of dubious individuals, the recent round of defamation lawsuits, however, struck ABC more severely than anything else. Caroline Leavitt, Elon Musk, and Carrie Underwood were the first to do so. One lawsuit after another piled up, making it more difficult for ABC to overlook the consequences of Whoopi's unrestrained comments. The worst part is that Whoopi was unable to place the blame elsewhere this time. She didn't have anyone to blame. Now let's discuss Carrie Underwood. Whoopi and her co-hosts viciously insulted Carrie when she sang at Trump's second swearing-in ceremony. Her performance was not the only thing they criticized. They were downright nasty, making fun of her, saying she had destroyed her career, and even implying that she was now in agreement with hate. It was a character assassination throughout the entire segment. They also thought Carrie would just accept it. However, Carrie did something that nobody anticipated. Rather than sending a vague tweet or comment, she sued The View for defamation, suing them for billions of dollars. And something explosive came to light when the case eventually reached the courtroom. Nobody was prepared for that, not even Whoopi.
Talk at you, not to you, and that's what she was doing, and she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the trail.
The bombshell was Carr's case. The panel went wild after she sang at Trump's second inauguration. They were not merely critical of her performance. They destroyed her job, made fun of her personally, and presented her as a hateful lining. They assumed she would remain silent. She didn't. She sued them for defamation and won $1 billion. The curtain lifted on something dramatic when the case ultimately went to trial. The entire slander was created by ABC for ratings. It was no coincidence. It was a well-planned hit. Executives hurried and silently accepted millions.
Live on this program yesterday, Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Caroline.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart. I will try to give Joy the benefit, and oh, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held.
You would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Caroline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Caroline Leavitt she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran for Congress?
In New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of 25, put out a very good canvas.
Who held? Followed by Elon Musk. 4 months. The host circulated false information about Twitter and portrayed him as dangerous. Musk retaliated by filing a lawsuit. Already uncomfortable, advertisers began to withdraw support. The goldmine of ratings was exploding. Sponsors questioned if the ongoing controversies were worth the show. The money drained up one by one.